Thank you for that question. I actually am just getting involved with Springfield Cares, which is an organization that is mostly run by the people funding my opponent, and they see my commitment and invited me to join the leadership of that group. So first of all, we need to talk about it. We need to have conversations about substance use disorders. Stop treating it like a criminal justice issue. Start treating it like a public health issue. We need to break the stigma. There is a stigma surrounding mental health, surrounding substance use disorders. People are afraid to come forward, and if they do, they don't want to talk about it. I have personally been impacted by family members and friends who have been struggling, and there is a time when you're isolated in this illness. It's not just the person struggling, it's a family illness. So we need to create more, we need to first get more resources here in Delco. Right now, if someone chooses to, if they're off heroin and they want to go through Suboxone or methadone treatment, there are no centers to regulate that distribution of medication, and that is a viable option for someone who lives in chronic pain. We also need to make sure the medical marijuana program is in fact passed in Pennsylvania. There are distributors open, but right now there are many people who cannot seek that treatment. Top in the list are veterans. The federal government is preventing veterans from being able to get access to medical marijuana. Therefore, their only options are opioids. So there are so many things that we need to do, but it starts with having conversations, with breaking the stigma, with getting more resources here, and with providing resources for family members that are affected, because this is a family illness, not just the person struggling.
I had to come a long way on this. I used to be a prosecutor in Philadelphia, and the cases that I handled a lot of were probation violations for drug possession cases, that kind of thing. And when I first started, I was like any good prosecutor. I thought I was supposed to go to the wall and try to get the best thing that I could, the hardest sentence that I could. And as and you see a lot in Philadelphia, you get a high volume, and I came to realize firsthand that criminal justice or prison doesn't solve this at all. It's not a solution. Criminal justice is not where this is going. Looking around the room, I think it's probably a pretty safe bet. We all know somebody who has struggled with this, whether it's ourselves or family members or friends. I think we as a society, it's a really hard one. This isn't a law that we can pass so much as we have to understand. We have to be willing to let people fail a couple times before they get better. It's a hard thing to do. We have to be more tolerant and understand that there are many paths to recovery and beating the opioid addictions in particular. My opponent, to give an example of the wrong way of thinking, he's a well-meaning guy on this. He's going to introduce a bill. There's a Good Samaritan law, which is if you call responders and you OD, you're not going to be prosecuted for drug possession. He wants to force them to go to a clinic when they call that in. But if they don't, what do you think happens? You go to jail. That can't be the stick. Prison can't be the stick for all of our drug addiction and opioid problems. We have to think of this differently and more compassionately.